right there. And we'll be right back, all right?
Hey, Terrell.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
My name is Nick Roberts. You doing alright? You want those off?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, absolutely. Alright. I'm Jerry Magna, by the way. Feeling better. I'm Derek. Nice to meet you. How's your morning?
Another morning.
Yeah. What are the facilities like over here?
They're okay. I mean, Fairfax, they remodeled half of it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what it looked like before, but I know that the side that I'm on now is already set.
When's the last time you were able to talk to family?
I talked to my uncle yesterday.
Your uncle, Jeremiah?
Jermaine.
Jermaine, did I say Jeremiah? Yeah. He's a good dude? Seems like it. Yeah. Seems like it. Is that the only family you talked to?
He talked to my mom.
Okay. How's your mom doing with all this?
She's stressed, but she's okay.
Yeah, I imagine she is. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
10.
Really? Wow. Where do you fall?
Middle.
And like dead in the middle?
On my mom's side, yes. On my dad's side, kind of, sort of. I'm kind of more towards, I'll have a twin.
You have a twin too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Are you tight with him?
Well, yeah, I'm cool with all my siblings except for one.
What did he do?
I'd rather not discuss that.
Okay. That's what I get you. I know. We've all got that one person in our family. We just, yeah. I know.
Who's how old is the oldest?
The oldest is 32, maybe.
Okay. How about the youngest?
He's not even 10 yet. He'll be 10 next year.
Okay. So your mama's still got her hands full.
My dad.
Oh, your dad. Okay. They don't live with your mom. Okay.
Did you grow up here or did you grow up?
Grew here.
Oh. Well, how'd your mom end up down there? Just
Her ex-husband.
let's see.
I'll be quite frank with y'all because it's a little early and I'm tired. I already know what this is mainly pertaining, so can we like move it a little further?
Absolutely.
Well, go ahead. What,
We certainly can. When we first became aware of, when we first became aware of everything, you know, we were told one thing. But we've since come to find out we might have been wrong, kind of about you and where you stand in this. So that's why we actually drove all the way up here. Through a little bit of a storm to get here to talk to you because we thought it'd be worth it. If you're willing to talk to us, I got you. And we'd be more than glad to sit down and talk with you. Do you want to talk with us about this?
My uncle told me not to talk unless I have a lawyer, but I mean, if it helps me in any way, then I don't mind.
Right. And that's certainly your decision. And like I was saying, you know that your husband got arrested, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know that he's been interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one version of events that was portrayed by him, as well as some other information and some statements made by witnesses and things of that nature. As we kind of went along with this, that were kind of making us focus on you a little bit. Within the last 24 to 48 hours, that's changed quite a good bit as far as, what we were told your exact role in this was. Has made us rethink that quite a bit.
And when we were told that there was pretty significant detail. So
Yeah.
we don't want someone to tell your story. That's what we're getting at. That's why we drove 13 hours to get here. I know you have a version of what happened, and I want your version to come from you. So
Not from him.
not from anybody else. I don't care how close you are with them. I want it to come from you. I want to listen to what you have to say. Okay? If you're willing to do that, we'll get started and go through it. So, all right. You were in custody. I'm going to read you your rights. It doesn't mean you're going to be charged with anything today in addition to whatever else you got going on. All right?
Well, this is for Georgia.
Okay. All right, we're from Florida, so it's a different state, different thing. So, before you answer any questions or make any statements, you must fully understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand your rights?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you acknowledge that I read that to you? And sign there, please.
You need water or anything?
Yes, please.
And just so I have the correct spelling of your name.
Terrelle.
E. Okay, there's an E on here. Okay. And is it
Price-Brown.
Price? Okay, you hyphenated it. Okay. Because it was Price to begin with, right? Okay.
It's on 2 million bottles, so look up from that.
So when was my husband arrested?
I believe it was 3 days ago now.
It would have been Friday. Was it Thursday going into Friday-ish? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, Thursday-ish.
You'll have to just bear with us. I know you're tired. I think we've both been up since like Tuesday or so. Probably last night was probably our longest night of sleep for 6 hours. It was phenomenal. But Thursday or Friday? Thursday, Friday-ish.
I spoke to his dad's friend, who's in the casinos, and he said that he spoke to him yesterday.
Okay.
And he didn't mention anything about him being arrested and transferred anywhere or anything like that.
He's been arrested since last week. I mean, I think it was towards the end of the week. Like I said, Thursday or Friday.
I know I got arrested on Friday because Georgia sent a warrant.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it would have been
I don't know. I thought it was Friday.
maybe Wednesday night-ish, Thursday morning-ish.
And transferred to Florida.
No, he's still up here.
He's up there.
He's still up here.
He's actually in Arlington.
He hasn't been transferred to Georgia or Florida anywhere yet. So
He's been in Arlington for almost 2 weeks now, already.
Okay. In the jail?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
okay. What did he get arrested for over there?
Domestic assault.
That's right. I read the report.
That was 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
You're
that's
still, okay.
that's what happened. He was already in custody for the domestic. Did that happen often with him? Are you sure? Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, when we first got married, we both had very high tempers. We were still getting to know each other, so there was a little bit of altercations, but in the past 2 years, we kind of grew from that. We kind of told each other that this is not what adults do. We don't sit there and fight and stuff. We talk through things, and we ended up talking through things, but day, we were just both stressful, and it was hot outside, and it was actually out of nowhere. And we both acknowledged that and we both apologized for it. So.
Okay, good.
Did y'all apologize for the police got there? Or?
No.
Who called it in? It wasn't you?
I called it in, but I called them for medical. Someone else called it in and said we were fighting.
Ah, gotcha. Neighbor saw you. Okay.
And so, but they didn't take the witness statement. So
Okay.
it's hearsay on exactly like how the whole thing started and things like that. So.
Because you didn't tell them.
What?
You didn't tell them, did you?
The
police that you guys had been into a fight.
I told them that my husband hit me.
Oh, you did?
And I needed medical attention.
Right.
But I didn't tell them the dynamics of the situation until they got there and they were asking me.
Yeah.
Then I told them, they was like, yeah, we got a call stating, well, when they got there and I told them everything was fine, they were talking to Jessie, and then when everything was like wrapping up, they came back and they arrested me and they was like, well, someone told us that y'all both were fighting, so we had to take both of y'all in.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I told them that it was just a misunderstanding between me and my husband, and they were like, okay, so you don't want to press charges or anything? I said, no, because I mean, it was a misunderstanding. And then they came back and said that, well, someone else called and said that y'all were fighting, so we got to take both of y'all, because both of y'all stories add up, and both of y'all obviously have marks on each other, so we're going to take both of y'all in.
Oh, was he injured too?
He just had red marks. He didn't.
Red marks. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I guess he got a warrant for something else. Is that why he's? Because you.
I think the warrant dropped while he was in there.
Okay.
Has there been a lot of stress lately?
Yeah, because after I got arrested in Arlington, I got out and I was trying to better my life. I was trying to get a job. I was trying to move forward and basically get Jessie into rehab. Mm-hmm. But no one knew, like no one wanted to take him in.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. No one wanted to take him in. Everyone was turning their backs on him.
Well, it's hard because I mean, you probably want inpatient rehab for him, don't you, as opposed to outpatient?
So he can stay in there and
it's hard to get into outpatient or inpatient, isn't it?
And then trying to get a job on top of that, and also all the stuff that I was hearing from my family about Derek and all that. It was stressful. Yeah. And honestly, I just wanted something or someone to say something so that way all this can be over and done with.
Okay.
And
was that going to be you?
Well, there's not much that I know, except for what I've been told and what I was doing through the course of time.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well,
can we start with how you know Derek, I guess?
I met Derek a couple weeks before all this happened. Me and my husband, we were stranded in Orlando, mm-hmm. and we walked from Orlando up to Odessa, or Ocala. Mm-hmm. And then we got on the Greyhound from Ocala to Tallahassee, and we was walking around.
You walked from Orlando to Ocala?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long walk.
Wow.
God dang.
Yeah. And so we were tired, and we ended up meeting Derek because he seen how tired he was. He seen how stressed he was, so he just was like, hey, come over. I got some water and stuff. Y'all can just relax here for a little bit and figure things out.
Where did you meet him? Like, what location were you when you met him?
It was online. Jessie met him.
Okay.
But we were at the library.
Okay.
And he told us to come over, so we went over there. And while we were over there, I was telling him, my mom's only a couple hours away. She's supposed to be picking us up in Albany, da-da-da-da. And so then he goes, well, if your mom pays me, then I can just take y'all up there.
Okay.
And so,
do you remember if that was like before or after the 4th of July?
That was, I think it might have been the day before the 4th of July.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think they were at a cookout. Yeah, my mom was at a cookout. And I remember asking her why was she, because she went to a cookout when she told me that she was going to pick us up in Albany. And she never told us about the cookout. And then after she told us she was at the cookout, we went to the place that she was at, and then she was like, oh, we left because it was raining and stuff. think so.
Okay.
But, where we might be?
That's all right. It's somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened after that?
So then, Derek, he was like, okay, so my mom sent me $40 to give to Derek. And we went and drove up that day, drove all around looking for my mom. Finally, we found her. He dropped us off. But before that, I remember me and Jessie getting into an argument because he wanted to, I don't actually know what he wanted. I don't know if he said that he wanted to talk to his stepdad to see if his stepdad would send him some money. And his stepdad was like, no, the only way I'm sending you money is, well, he said he wasn't going to send him money anyway. He said he was going to buy him a bus ticket to D.C. And I guess Jessie didn't want to do that or whatever. All I remember was packing up our stuff. Because Derek gave us this red duffel bag. And I was packing up our stuff, and then he was, he wanted me to return a phone. Because we bought a little cheap phone while we was walking from Orlando to Ocala. Bought a little cheap phone so we can be able to communicate with our family and stuff. And he wanted me to return it, and I told him, I was like, we're going to need it just in case like my mom's not there when Derek drops us off. But Derek ended up dropping us, like wherever my mom said she was, Derek ended up taking us there and whatever. He was very helpful. Mm-hmm. But Jessie walked out in the rain, and me and Derek went to go get him, and he was at the bus station at Greyhound.
Okay.
And after we picked him up, we started our journey back up, and he dropped us off, and that was the last time I seen or heard from Derek. And then Jessie left. Said he was leaving me because he said he was tired of putting me through all the heartache and all this and all that. So he said he was leaving me so I can better myself. And I said, well, when were you going to tell me this? He was like, well, I didn't want to tell you, that's why I just left and all this and that. So he went to Georgia, or northern Georgia by Warner Robins, or Macon. And then he said that he was on his way home and that he was going to be there soon. And then it was a couple hours later, and there was still no Jessie, and I remember calling him saying, where are you at? He says, oh, I'm not coming back. And I said, what? He said, no, I'm not coming back. And I said, well, where are you? He said, don't worry about that. And then his stepdad told me that he wasn't in Georgia anymore, and I was like, where is he? He said, I don't know, he's moving. I said, moving where? He said, moving. I said, is he coming up north to you? He goes, no, he's moving south. And I thought he was going to, I actually don't know where he was going, because he wouldn't tell me. Mm-hmm. So then, I want to say the day he got back, his stepdad told me that he was in Florida. And I was like, okay, why is he in Florida? He goes, I don't know. I didn't think anything up there. I didn't think...
The day who got back?
Jessie, like the day he came to me.
Okay.
Yeah. His stepdad told me that morning that he was in Florida.
Okay, gotcha.
And I didn't think that he was with Derek or anything like that. I thought he might have went back to Orlando because that's where he wanted to go. He wanted to go back to Orlando because he liked it there. I didn't like it there. I honestly don't like Florida. I thought I was gonna like it. It's a sunny state, but not sunny for me.
Gotcha.
I called him. He wouldn't answer. So then I just left it alone. Then he called me later on that evening and was asking me where was I at and all this and all that. And I was like, I'm at home. Why? He goes, I'm on my way to come see you. I want to talk to you. I want to work things out. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay. I was like, why now? He goes, I just realized that I messed up with you and I don't want you to hate me and all this and all that. I want us to move forward. And I was like, well, my family hates you right now because of what you put me through. And he goes, well, I'm sorry, I'll apologize to them. So then he came, we talked, and we just were talking. He was basically apologizing. I was asking why he would leave me the way he left me and things like that. And I was like, well, let's just take a break from the conversation. I went outside. My sister comes in the house and she's like, where's he at? What's he doing? I said, who are you talking about? She goes, where's your husband? I said, oh, he's in the bathroom. She goes, okay. So she comes in the house, she spits in his face. And I was like, why'd you do that? She said, because he shouldn't have hurt you like that. And I said, well, I'm handling that. I'm talking to him right now. And she goes, well, you need to handle it. If not, I'm going to handle it. And she was also pregnant at the time, so her emotions were like all over the place.
Yeah, I get that.
So he was upset about that, and we basically were, I was just like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to be with me? Do you not want to be with me? He's like, I want to be with you. He said, but I'm leaving for Virginia. And I was like, why? He goes, well, my grandmother's really sick and my mom is really sick, so I'm going to go to Virginia to see my grandmother, and then I'm going to go to Detroit to see my mom. I said, okay. I was like, well, I don't want you driving by yourself because that's a long trip to be driving by yourself and you don't really know how to drive. So he's like, well, you can either come with me or you can stay here. And I was like, well, I'm not going to send you out on the road by yourself, so I'm going to go with you. Okay. But just know that when you see your mom and you see your grandmother, we're coming straight back here. He's like, okay, that's fine. I just want to go see them and then make sure they're okay, and then we can come back. I said, okay. We were supposed to make a loop, and we never made the loop because it got stuck here.
Okay. And
that's how I met Derek, and that's how the chain of events happened.
Gotcha.
So when Jessie came back, who did he come back with?
He was by himself.
Okay. In what vehicle?
He was in the car. He was in the car. Because I remember asking him, why was he in the car?
What about the other car?
What other car?
What car was he in? What kind of car was it?
Oh, it was a Chevy. Red Chevy.
Red Chevy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was there anybody with him? Anybody traveling with him? Okay.
He said that, because I asked him why he was in that car, because I knew whose car it was once I seen the inside, I knew whose car it was.
Okay.
And he was like, that he rented the car from Derek, that he paid him some money, and that he only was supposed to have the car for the weekend. That's why he said that he wanted to.
Did he call you and tell you that he was coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
He called me and told me that he was coming because he wanted to talk to me.
When did he call you and tell you that he was coming with Derek's car?
Well, he didn't tell me what car he was coming in, but he told me that he was coming. It was the night before.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that he was coming up, but it took him like a while to get up here. Like, that was, I want to say he called me around like, I want to say, because he called me several different times a day, because I remember one time he said he was coming and it was going to only take him a couple hours.
Yeah.
Then a couple hours turned into a few hours, and then I was just like, okay, where are you at? He was like, I'm coming, I just had to make a pit stop, and which he later told me that he went to some boy's house and had sex with him on the way up. And I was like, wow, you're coming to tell me you're working on things with us, but yet you end up making one last booty call on your way up. But I didn't fault him for that, because if he was going to do anything, he might as well have done it before he got to me, so that way it was a clean slate.
So,
Okay.
we know that he called your 313 area code number, I guess, well, about that time period.
313, he had that phone.
He had the 313, 413 number? That was his?
That was his grandmother's phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what phone did you have at the time? Do you remember your telephone?
I had a K20.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the phone number?
404-516 6907.
404 what?
516
Mm-hmm.
6907.
Is that the phone number that you called 911 from?
No.
This incident that happened?
Mm-hmm.
No. Did you have this 404 phone on you, I guess, when they arrested you?
Yes, not here, but when they first arrested me like 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously, one of the issues we have is trying to determine you know, what information that we have is factual, and which has been stretched a little bit. You know, we've got certain phone records that put you in Tallahassee.
How?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out who had whose phone.
Because my phone was off.
Your phone is turned off.
He turned my phone off. That number right there.
When you say he turned it off, he had service canceled?
He suspended the line because he was leaving me, so he wanted to make sure that I had no, like I couldn't, because it was in his name, that I couldn't use the phone. So he suspended my account. You can actually ask the Metro PCS lady that's right down the street from my mom's house, because I walked there to go get it turned back on.
Can Jessie be kind of overbearing? Can he be kind of, I don't know, manipulative? Like, is everything always in his name? Is everything always his idea? That kind of thing?
He tries to be.
Tries to be, okay.
Sometimes.
You don't let him, though.
Well, sometimes it's out of my control because he'll do things out of impulse.
Right, okay.
And
He's more impulsive.
And he won't let me know until after the fact.
Gotcha, okay.
Like a phone situation. Like, I didn't know that he was turning off my phone, and next thing I know, I get a text message saying that there has been changes made to my account. Then I get a text message saying that I had to pay $3 for unless I wanted my service to be interrupted. So I walked to the Metro PCS store to pay the $3, which was useless because he ended up taking that whatever that was off. So I didn't have to pay the $3, but he still suspended my line. So.
Okay. And I mean, that's got to be tough to deal with. Has that happened? And does he do that kind of stuff all the time?
Sometimes if he feels some type, like he used to think that I was cheating on him. So if he felt like I was cheating on him, he would turn off my phone, or he would lock my phone, or he would do something to my phone to where I couldn't use it. And then when he felt like, oh, okay, now I know that you're telling me the truth, he would turn my phone back on, or he would unlock my phone, or things like that.
Gotcha. That seems kind of crazy to do, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I said, he hasn't done that, and we've been working on it.
Gotcha.
And that's why I told him that when he gets out, that he had to go to rehab.
Okay. Do you think it has to do a lot with the drug use? Okay.
Because I seen him off of drugs and I seen him on drugs, and the whole paranoia and the whole him thinking that I'm up to something always would come when he was on the drug. When he wasn't on the drug and he would just drink, everything was fine. He just would be emotional because he felt some type of way about within himself, and we always told each other that we were going to try to figure out the root of his problem, because he said he doesn't like being sober. He doesn't like being sober off of alcohol, and he doesn't like being sober off of drugs, because he said that when he's sober, something in his head isn't right. And I'm always like, well, what is it? Let's get to the root of it. But he never stays sober enough for us to find out the root.
What's his drug of choice?
Meth.
Okay, that's a tough one to kick.
How long ago been together?
2 years. Well, together about 4.
Yeah.
Married about 2.
Okay. Has he been using the whole time? The majority of it?
Not majority, because there was a big break. One, I want to say the beginning of 2017, for a couple months he was clean.
Yeah.
And then I want to say June of 2017, he hit the wall, and because someone giving him a large amount, so he was using it all the time, and then he would sell some to use some more, and it was just a back and forth thing, and it got so bad to where it was scaring me, because I was just like, no, you're using too much. You're scaring me, because when he would use too much and he would get angry, you can see it in his face. His face would start to cave in and all that, and I didn't like that, and I told him that it had to stop.
Did you ever party with it recreationally or yourself?
Yeah. I mean, my mom always said, don't knock until you try it.
Yeah.
But
I don't think she was talking about meth though, when she said that.
No, she said anything, you try everything once.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But don't make it
Yeah.
destroy your life.
So you didn't let it destroy yours, but he was kind of going down that road.
Honestly, I don't have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I grew up with 10 siblings, but I felt like the only child. So I don't really do well in big groups. I don't really do well in like things that are repetitive. I like to try to figure out what my thing is, and then I kind of stick with that.
Yeah. Something I meant to ask you. I guess when y'all first met Derek and he brought y'all up, ultimately dropped you off near your mom's house, right?
At my mom's house.
Yeah. Did y'all stop at his place in Tallahassee at all?
When
he was bringing you up? Because he picked y'all up somewhere around, what, between Orlando and Ocala, is that right?
No.
I'm sorry.
We got to Ocala and then we got on the Greyhound.
And got to Tallahassee?
They got to Tallahassee, and when we got to Tallahassee, we got a hotel room. But something happened with the hotel and the website that we went through hotels.com, where they refunded our money.
Yeah. Y'all stayed at Motel 6?
Yeah.
Do you remember which one it was?
It was the one by the college, right? Like right next to, there's like a CVS, McDonald's, and then there's like it looks like a strip club, but it's not a strip club. But it was right there. It's next to the Econo Lodge and all that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
We were there. Basically, they had refunded the money, and the money was going to be back within for 7 days. And so this lady ended up helping us, and she was like, oh, here, I'll buy y'all room for the night, da-da-da-da. So we was there for the night, and then we were leaving the next day to try to come. We were going to walk to Georgia, but then she was like, well, stay for dinner and all this and all that. And we was like, okay. So we left our stuff with her, and we were walking around Tallahassee.
When you stay with her, like in her hotel room?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We left our stuff with her, and we were walking around, and then she was doing other stuff while we were walking around. We were waiting for her to finish doing her errands. And when she was done with her errands, we were going to go back, have a little cookout with her, and then we were going to leave. But she ended up like taking too long, and while we was waiting on her, we was at the library. And that's when he found Derek, and then that's when Derek told us to come over. We was sitting there for a little bit, and then I kept telling Jessie, because I didn't feel comfortable, even though he wanted to help us. I never felt comfortable with someone we just met, and they're willing to help us so much, because it just doesn't seem right. So I was just like, I kind of don't want to sit here. I don't really feel comfortable. And then Jessie was just like, no, it's okay. And I was like, well, call the lady to see if she can give us our stuff at least, so that way I feel better about that, because there's a whole bunch of strangers that's willing to help us, and I don't really feel that comfortable. So I was like, well, see if the lady will let us get our stuff, so that way I feel comfortable about that, at least that we have our belongings, so just in case we have to leave, we can just take our stuff and we can just go. So then he called the lady. The lady said, yeah. The lady said, yeah, we can come get our stuff. So Derek took us to the hotel, dropped us off there, and then he went back to the house. So then we got our belongings. We went and got something to eat.
When you say back to the house?
Back to his house, Derek's house.
Derek's house. Did you go back to Derek's house?
That night?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got our belongings and we walked back to his house.
Yeah.
And that's when I called my mom, and my mom said that she was going to pay him if he would take us to her house.
How many nights did y'all spend at Derek's place?
One.
Just one. Got there before dark and left the next day?
No. We got there the second time, because the first time we walked there was during the day. The second time we got there was nighttime.
Okay.
And so we walked in and put our stuff down. Then that's when he seen all of our stuff, because we had like big bags, little bags, and we had different sized bags. So then he was just like, hey, here, I'm gonna give you something to put all your bags in at one, so you don't have to keep lugging several different bags. So then we put our stuff in there, And then we actually didn't mean to spend the night. We were just sitting there on the couch and we was talking and watching The Wizard of Oz. And then I remember I ended up dozing off. And then next thing I know, it was morning time and my mom was calling to send me the money so that way we can leave. And then she sent us money. We were supposed to leave at like 8 o'clock that morning, but we ended up leaving like close to noonish.
Yeah. Where was Jessie when you woke up?
When I woke up, where was she? He was at the end of my feet.
Okay. So you're in the living room area or in the bedroom?
Actually, he was at the end of my feet when I woke up, but Derek was waking us up because his friend, I want to say it starts with an R-O. One of his friends was coming over, and Derek didn't want him to bother us, so he woke us up and told us to go in the room. So we went in the room, and we lay down in the bed, which was very comfortable. I remember that, because I fell right back to sleep.
Yeah.
But then when I woke up in the morning, Jessie was laying next to me, and Derek was up vacuuming. And then I went back to sleep, because I was like, I didn't want to be bothered with the vacuuming, and I seen that he was like trying to keep everything neat. So I didn't want to bother him, so I went back to sleep. And then that's when I woke up to Jessie talking to Derek about how we were about to go back and what we were going to do and stuff. And then I called my mom. She said she sent the money already, so I just had to go pick it up. And then
Where'd she send the money to?
she sent it through CVS MoneyGram.
CVS MoneyGram? Do you remember where the CVS was that you picked up the money?
No, because I thought we were going to pick it up from the one right next to where our hotel was, but we went to a totally different one.
Okay, you remember what road it may have been on? I mean, everything you're telling us, we'd like to go back and be able to verify, so.
I know
Do you
that
have a receipt for it or anything like that? Okay.
So what was the amount?
the amount is $40.
40. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. That night, was there any drug use at all that night? No. Did meth ever come up between Jessie and Derek at all? It did? In what context?
Earlier, like the first time when we got there, Derek was smoking with his friend. I wish I knew his name. I think it started with an O. And it was kind of weird.
What did this person look like whose name started with an O?
He was about 6'1".
White male?
He was multi-race.
Okay.
He said that he was white and black and I think he said Dominican.
Okay.
But he looked white. He looked white, honestly. And
How old was he?
he was probably in his 40s.
Was he heavy set? He's 6'1". Is he heavy set? Or?
He's about my build, if not a little heavier.
Okay.
Did he say where he was from or what he did for a living? Or?
I know that he said that he lived in this big house in, it was like 30, 45 minutes away from where Derek lived. Because I remember he said that he was going to go there. He had some young boy there that was staying with him. And that him and the young boy, they might come back over, I don't know. Trying to think of his name.
Can we fast forward just a little bit from I guess your first meeting when Derek helped y'all out, and he brings y'all back up to close to your mom's place in Georgia. But going back to the period of time when Jessie said that he was leaving, and then you talked to his dad, and his dad says he's headed down to Florida. Or
His dad's friend.
his best friend, said that he was in Florida. Did he just say Florida, or did he say a specific place in Florida?
No, he said that he was heading towards Florida from the GPS because he was looking on his phone. Because Jessie sent him his live location at one point in time, and so he gets tracked whenever he was wherever Jessie was. But he said at the moment he was moving, so he couldn't tell where he was going.
Now, how would Jessie have been traveling?
Well, later on, Jessie told me that he got picked up
By
some boy that he met in Georgia. He said that he met him in Georgia, and that he was driving him to Florida. And so when I asked him, I was like, well, who's the boy? He says, oh, he's some straight boy that I met, da 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 da. And I was like, so he decided to just drive you down to Florida. He goes, yeah, well, he wanted to hang out with me, and we were just sitting in the car talking for hours, and we almost got arrested because a cop came up to us and told us that we couldn't sit where we were sitting. And I was like, well, where was that? He said, I don't know, some side street, da da da. And I was like, okay.
Did he, when you were talking to him, did he ever say like where in Florida he was going to?
No, this is after, when he came back.
When he came back. Okay, so you never talked to him when he was making the trip to Florida. You just heard from friends. Did either you or Jessie keep in contact with Derek after that, after he helped y'all out the first time?
I didn't.
Did Jessie?
He would like say, hey, how you doing, and things like that, but
Like via text or, okay. What phone number was Jessie using at the time?
it was, yeah.
Remember the area code on it?
I can't remember if it was the 404 number, which is 404 914 2374, or it might have been 2473.
And both, that's a Metro, did y'all get those phones at the same time? Okay. And when y'all got both these Metro phones at the same time, did y'all have any other phones, or were those the only two that you had?
No, that's the only phone that we had. He had his grandmother's phone, but it didn't really work.
And what's the telephone number for grandmother's phone?
I don't remember that one because it didn't work, so I never really had to use for it.
What kind of phone was it?
A little track phone.
Okay. When did you first see him with it?
He's always had it.
Okay.
But it was
Since
always,
before you even got to got to Ocala and all that. Okay.
Yeah, but it will always like mess up, and it wasn't working, and it didn't have any minutes on it, so we couldn't use it.
Okay, gotcha.
So
both these Metro numbers, they're basically he's the account holder for those.
They were supposed to put my name on the account so I can have access to it, so that way if he did like try to suspend my line, I can go in and But
because he established service, he would have to allow them to put you on it, and he never.
Well, no, they were supposed to be. He was there when I was there with him when we got the phones. But what he did was he put a high security on the account and didn't tell me what it was. So when I went up to Metro and tried to switch my service back on, I couldn't because I didn't know the security code to get into the account.
Yeah. And the 313 area code number, you said that belongs to
his grandmother.
His grandmother. Okay. And where's his grandmother at?
She lives out here in Virginia, but she's in Detroit, taking care of his mother.
Okay. Now, back in this time period of July, where was she at then?
In Virginia.
Okay. Do you know what's her name? Do you know?
Elaine.
Elaine? All right. What city or town does she live in?
She lives in Alexandria.
Okay.
What's Elaine's last name?
Brown.
Brown, okay. Is Elaine spelled funny? Anything? Okay, you don't talk and spell it. Sorry.
No. That's, now, I know that you said that's Elaine's phone. She's the account holder on it. agreement with you there. But he's used the phone for an extended period of time. She's gone to Detroit and he still used the phone. So is it a phone that she loaned to him?
It was her like Obama phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to have minutes recur every month or whatever,
Right.
but at this time there was no minutes on the phone because we used up all the minutes when we was walking from Orlando to Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
So after we got to Ocala, we couldn't use the phone anymore. That's why we ended up buying a little smartphone so we can be able to contact our family and stuff.
Okay.
And when we were traveling, we would only be able to talk during, like, on Wi-Fi.
Gotcha.
But then the phone broke. I think like the screen went out or something, so we weren't able to use the phone. Like, we couldn't see who was calling, we couldn't call out. Well, we could call out, but we wouldn't know like what number we were calling because the screen was messed up.
Right.
This time period when he left to go to Florida, when y'all had the breakup.
Well, he went to Georgia.
I'm sorry. And then you heard from the friend of his dad that he was headed to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
During this time period, did you have any telephone contact with him at all? You had none?
I was trying to call him, he wouldn't call me, or I'll call him, he wouldn't answer, and if he called me, I would be able to call him back because he would call me from, he would call me, but he'll call me like on Facebook or something, and then he'll block me on Facebook so that way I couldn't call him back. But he did, the day that he was coming back and he apologized and stuff, or when he said he was on his way up, he did tell me that he was going to turn my phone on because his dad's friend told him that he was going to turn my phone back on.
Okay.
So he said that he was going to do that. He just had to call them and remember the code and all that. And I was like, all right. So I was waiting for that, and he didn't call, or he didn't tell me that it was back on until he was on his way up when I was waiting.
Okay. So which phone did you have?
I had my phone. It was just off.
Okay.
That's why he was calling me on Facebook.
Okay. And you had the was it 404-91?
No, mine was 404-516.
516. Okay. All right. So that's your phone. And then he had the two others, the new phone and his grandma's phone? Okay.
And skipping ahead to when he calls you and he tells you that he's coming to see you, he's coming back up from Florida. Where were you at, I guess, when he called you?
I was at my mother's house. I was at my mother's house the entire time.
Yeah. And he told you that he was coming, that he had rented a car. You didn't know it was Derek's car?
He didn't tell me what car he was coming in. He just said that he was coming. And I said, how? He said, don't worry about that. I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he gets there, I go, so you was with Derek? And he goes, well, yeah, that's where I rented the car from. And I said, he let you rent his car for the weekend? He goes, yeah, I had to return it on Monday. I said, okay, well, why? He said, well, he told me that he had lost his job and he was struggling with money, so I gave him some money so that way I can rent his car for the weekend. And that's why I had to get it back by the Monday.
Did you ask Jessie how he was able to come up with money to rent a car?
Well, I knew how his mom sent the money.
Do you know how much?
I want to say it was like $2 something.
Okay. Do you know where you would have picked it up?
She most likely would have sent it through MoneyGram, so probably the same CVS that he took me to.
Okay. But, well, his mom's sick, so
she gets money every month.
Okay.
Social Security or something like that.
Okay.
But she sent him. Well, she had his aunt send him the money. So basically, she gave his aunt the money. His aunt sent the money to him.
Okay. Do you know his aunt's name?
Mm-mm.
Do you know his mom's name?
Yeah, Gabriel Brown. Don't you have all that information? His parents?
Some of it. We just wanted to confirm it with you, see if you know.
Did, how do you know that his mom sent money to him? Because he told you?
No, she told me.
She told you. Didn't she tell you before or after? Before or after he arrived back at your mom's place?
She told me before, and I told her not to send him any money.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because most likely what he's going to use that money for is drugs.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, he said that he's going to use the money to get on the bus, get up here to see me, da-da-da. And I was like, well, if you send him the money, you send him the money. But I'm letting you know that if he doesn't come, then that's why he didn't come.
What time of day did he get back to your mom's place in Americus?
It was, I want to say it was the evening time because my mom was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And, she had church. She might have been at work. But my mom wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the evening time. And I remember my sister came over because she spit in his face.
Mm-hmm.
And she had just gotten off of work. And she usually works in the morning time. So it was the evening.
And were you home that day that he arrived at your mom's place? Had you been home all day or had you been off anywhere else?
I was home all day because I was waiting on him to get there.
Okay, so it was dark when he got there? Okay. See, we've got a slight issue with that because Derek's vehicle, did you know that Derek was a Lyft driver? Right,
Well, yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay.
He told me when we first met him that he drives Lyft here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sporadic, I think, maybe. Yeah.
Do you know that his car is equipped with GPS?
Mm-hmm. I used to have the same car. I had a silver 2012 Chevy Cruise, and it is equipped with OnStar.
Yeah, right. Because right after lunch, it was actually like at 12:26 p.m. that vehicle shows up at your mom's house on the afternoon of the 17th of July. So and you were home all day, right? So I mean, he couldn't have got there and parked, and you just didn't know about it. So.
But he told the 17th. That's the day after. That's the day after. He came on the 16th.
Well, he didn't come in Derek's car on the 16th.
So then I don't know what car he came in.
Well, all I'm saying, are you sure it was the 16th? I mean, how positive are you that it was the 16th instead of the 17th? Because I mean, I know
what day did the 17th fall on?
Monday.
That was a Monday, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Or Tuesday. I can't remember. You have to look.
I'll look at that. It might have been a Tuesday. We left on Wednesday because we got up here by Thursday. So it might have been the 17th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I understand that going back, 2, 3, 4 months ago, was trying to remember the exact day. You've done very well so far, so I'm not trying to bust your chops over what day it was, because I couldn't remember what day something happened on 2 weeks ago.
Monday was the 16th.
So yeah, then it was on Tuesday that he came to the house because we left on Wednesday to come up here.
Okay. But he did get there in the daylight hours. He got there basically at noontime. But you remember him being there at dark?
I remember him being there in the evening because I remember my mom wasn't there. My mom was work 9 to 10, 1, 2, 3, and then again at, I think it's again at 9 to 10.
Okay.
Because she only goes into work for an hour.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get caught up on that, but and you said it was the next day y'all left to drive north. That night or that day or that night, whichever it was that he got there, in Derek's car, in his red car. Did y'all leave? Did y'all go anywhere? Did y'all take his car anywhere?
We did when we went to the cable company, which was Mediacom right down the street from my mom's house, because we ordered cable. And the cable box, or not cable, we ordered internet. The internet box wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so when we ordered, we went there to go switch out the box, and we ended up going to get food and stuff too. That's the only thing that we did.
Where's the food from?
Cookout.
What's it called?
Cookout.
What kind of food do they have?
Cookout food, like burgers, hot dogs.
Oh, you went to a cookout, or
No,
the place is called?
It's
Cookout?
called Cookout.
Is it just like a roadside stand or an actual restaurant?
It's like a roadside stand, like you drive through the drive-through order.
Is it good?
What road is it on?
I don't know, cause it's new. Like they just built it. I know it's right off of probably Mayo Street, I think, something like
Mayo
that.
Street? Okay.
But yes, the food is good there.
And you went to the cable place?
Mediacom.
Mediacom. All right. And did you go after y'all went to Mediacom and the cookout, did y'all go back to your mom's house, or did you go anywhere else?
We went back to my mom's house because what happened? We went back to my mom's house to hook up the internet and stuff, and then I was hooking it up, and I remember Jessie was getting frustrated with me because he wanted to go. He was ready to go. And I told him, I was like, I told my mom that I was going to get this fixed and all this situated before.
The cable stuff?
Because it was in my name, so.
How long had she been without cable?
Or internet?
Or internet, yeah.
I don't know. Because I just got to my mom's house when Derek dropped us off there.
Yeah.
And the last time I've been there was like a year or two before that. But they was using the upstairs neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Gotcha. That was nice of the upstairs neighbor. Did the next day, whatever day it was, did you guys decide to leave your mom's house and drive north? Did y'all go anywhere on the way out of town, or did y'all just get on the road and go?
Just got on the road and go.
Okay. Do you remember any stops that you made or anything like that? Did you have to gas up?
We did, and that was in North Carolina, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But we pulled off the road in South Carolina and slept for a couple hours.
Okay. How much stuff did y'all carry back with you? How many bags did you have? How many bags did he have?
We had a duffel bag. We had, he had a laundry hamper, and
Laundry hamper full of clothes or empty?
it had clothes in it.
Okay.
I know that it wasn't enough to fill up the trunk, but I know that it
Did you happen to notice that the car was full of a lot of belongings that didn't belong to Jessie?
actually, no, because I was asking him where some of this stuff came from. He said that it came from what's his name, because he was giving it away.
Derek.
Mm-hmm.
And what were some of those items that he was giving away?
It was mainly like clothes.
Now, Jessie and Derek, do they roughly wear the same clothes size? I thought, really? Because Derek's a little bitty guy, isn't he? And he's
But-
smaller than me.
Not Derek, Jessie, when he's on drugs, he's thin
Lean.
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did y'all go by the U-Haul place? On Lamar Street.
Jessie went there when he got back, because he said that him and Derek got a U-Haul for some boy to help him move.
Mm-hmm. And y'all dropped the U-Haul. Did you help Jessie drop the U-Haul off?
I drove the car.
You drove the car,
Mhm.
and Jessie drove the U-Haul up there. What time did y'all get to the U-Haul place over on Lamar? You don't know. Was it daylight or nighttime?
Daylight.
Okay.
Was it the day he got there or the day after we all left?
It was the day that we got there because he said that when we was talking. See, now that's not making sense. Yeah, it was the day that we got there, or he got there, because he said that he needed to, or Derek texted him that asked him to drop off the U-Haul.
Okay. I got a question for you.
Yes.
And I think you just answered it inadvertently. How could Jessie have driven 2 vehicles from Tallahassee to Americus, a U-Haul and a Chevy? And I think,
When he got there, he told me that he was by himself, but he told me that him and Derek got a U-Haul for the boy.
So where was Derek?
He said that Derek asked him to drop off the U-Haul.
So where was Derek?
I don't know. Listen,
Trump.
I know this is serious. This is my life. This is my freedom. And so I'm going to make sure that I answer all your questions. I did not see Derek. When he told me about the U-Haul, that's why I asked him a couple questions like, why would he let you rent his car for the weekend if you had to return it?
Okay.
Why did he ask you to drop off the U-Haul?
Terrell, you're kind of stuck now.
No, I'm not.
And I don't want to get in an argument with you about it, but what we know, and a lot of it, like I told you, Jessie gave us a story in detail. Okay?
there's GPS on the vehicle.
GPS on the vehicle that puts,
There's phone data.
I mean, we
have some witnesses.
You have some witnesses. Okay, so where were these witnesses a couple months ago?
We're not going to get, well, to be honest with you, that's always a good question. That's a question that we always ask. Where were you when we needed you months ago?
And now all of a sudden, but there's some witnesses.
Because let's not get caught up on the witnesses.
No. I'm getting caught up on what y'all are trying to imply now.
Yeah.
That's not what we implied.
Okay.
It's not what we implied. Okay? It's what Jessie's implying that you got to worry about.
So what is he implying? Because a couple months ago, when all this came about, I gave my side of the story. A couple months ago, there was no witnesses. Now it's ironic that...
Who did you talk to a couple months ago?
The Fairfax County Police Department, or Special Victims Department. And then I just talked to a private investigator a couple days ago that's working with the family. Then I also talked to my mother, who talked to the police down there in Americus, Georgia. So that's where all my problems are coming in. Okay, so now it's like, I talked to a private investigator, there was no witnesses. And that was literally a couple days ago, like right before I got arrested.
I know, we talked to him.
And
I guess he told you that there were no witnesses. That private investigator's name is David Marshburn, I think.
Morrison or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He made a name for himself somehow with some missing persons case or whatever, but he lives in North Carolina. When he was investigating this case, he didn't leave North Carolina. And he told me, when I asked how many hours that he worked on it, he told me. Do you know how many hours it was? 3. 3.
He read some paperwork and called you.
And called you.
Okay.
And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow is exactly right, because I'm not sure how much Derek's mom paid him, but I hope it wasn't for more than 3 hours worth of work. So I wouldn't put much stock in what he said, I guess is the point I'm getting. But I guess, to be quite honest and quite blunt, Jessie puts you in Tallahassee and traveling back with him to Americus. We have
vehicles.
In 2 vehicles, because that's the only way that you can get this U-Haul rental and Derek's car 2 hours north. And then we have you guys arriving there at, I think it's 12:26 p.m. in the afternoon at your mom's house.
I can tell you this. When Jessie came to the house, he was in the car.
Yeah.
We drove to, what is it? Bulk of Berkeley, it's a store, a clothing store. We drive over there. The U-Haul is sitting in the parking lot.
At Berkeley's clothing store?
Yes.
The U-Haul sitting there. Was there anybody around the U-Haul? And was this daytime or nighttime when y'all drove over there?
It was, the sun was still up, but it wasn't out. And was a lady with her son. Then there was a black lady walking to the store, and that was the only two people that were outside.
Okay, and what, excuse me, what happened once y'all got to Berkeley's clothing store in the U-Haul?
Jesse got out the car. He got in the U-Haul. I got in the car, in the driver's seat. We drove to the U-Haul place. Then he gets out the car. He goes, I don't know where to put the keys. And I said, you just take it up there. He goes, where? And I said, right there in the door. I got up. I took the key, dropped it.
In a drop box? So nobody made contact with anybody at the store? Was what time of day was this?
I don't know what time of day it was.
And this is as y'all were going out of town, right? Or no? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I'm just asking. Is this as y'all were leaving?
I'm trying to remember because it might have.
Do you remember going back anywhere in Americas after y'all dropped the U-Haul off? Like maybe going back to your mom's or going anywhere, or did y'all just hit the road and get out of town?
I think we might have went back to my mom's because I was going to go say bye to my mom. But she wasn't there. And Jessie said, you sure you want to leave without saying bye to your mom? And I said, well, we can stay here or we can leave. And he goes, well, I want to leave. He's very adamant on leaving.
Did you ever have any conversation with Jessie, like specifically about this U-Haul? I mean, you made some mention of...
Not really specifically about the U-Haul, except for that him and Derek got it for some friend that they were helping move.
Him and Derek got it for some friend that they were helping move. And like where they were moving this friend to, or...
He didn't say any of that.
Nothing.
How many times has Jessie been to Americas near where your mom lives?
How many times? The first time is when we got to... Wait, no. Last year.
Last year.
Last year was the first time because we were...
How long was he there for? And then
he was only there for, I want to say maybe a couple of weeks or so.
Okay.
Then we go to Arizona. We got stuck out in Arizona, so then we get a bus ticket back to Georgia. And we was in Georgia for maybe a couple days. And then we go from Georgia back up to DC. And then we didn't go back to Georgia until Derek dropped us off a couple months ago.
Okay. And is it safe to say that Jessie may not know the town as well as you do? Not know Americas as well as you? I mean, it's where
I don't know the Americas that well.
Okay.
There's some parts that I still don't know.
When y'all go there to Americas, to your mom's house, do you and him kind of stick together? Does he go out and explore by himself, or?
He left sometimes by himself.
Okay. All right. Now, do you know where they found Derek at?
No.
I think you do.
No, I don't. How am I supposed to know where they found him?
4,000 feet from your mama's house.
Less than a mile.
Less than a mile.
Where?
By the railroad tracks. You know that.
I know where the railroad tracks are.
Yeah. You know, we see Derek's car show up at your mama's house just after lunchtime. It's only there for a hot minute, and then it leaves, and it goes right to where, well, first it goes somewhere else nearby. I think there might have been some traffic coming to or fro, so the vehicles had to move just a little bit, but then it winds up right there where we found Derek's body at.
So, okay, I'm not stupid. I know how one stop works. And in order for it to pinpoint a location, you have to turn the car off. So you're saying that...
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's two things in play here. There's the software that Lyft uses, and then there is OnStar. Right? And you're right that we can tell when the car is turned off, and we can tell when it's turned on, and we can tell when it's moving. And then you've also got Lyft, the software that they use as well. Because once their drivers exit a certain boundary, in this case, the boundary set for him was basically Tallahassee. Once he leaves that certain boundary, it starts sending regular GPS updates. Because you watch the news, you've seen all the allegations made against the Lyft drivers and Uber drivers for rape and everything else. So
You know how it works.
Yeah.
You see them come around the corner, you know it's that car because it's pinpointed.
On your app.
I mean, that's less than 1 meter hits. That's very close, me to you.
I mean, if there's no live GPS on that car, how do you know when your Uber is fixing to pick you up? You know what I mean?
Exactly, but
So,
what I'm saying is, I'm not sure where and when that occurred, because when I came to the house, when Jessie came to the house, I was home. I was talking to my sisters. I was also talking to my sister's boyfriend. So I don't know how I'm in play in all this if I'm not even there, because I'm talking to my family members.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, and I'll admit this, you know, in some regards, behind the curve, but we will be talking to your family members. Your mom has already indicated that she thinks that you know more about this than what you've told law enforcement. We'll be talking with her probably tomorrow. And we'll be talking with your family members probably tomorrow, including your sister that spit in Jessie's face. I know that you're saying that he got there after dark on that day, but the evidence clearly shows that he got there to your mom's house right after lunch, and that within not even 20 minutes, the car left your mom's house, and it traveled over to the location where Derek's body was found.
And look,
You know, he's saying that you love him.
I know you love Jessie, okay? You guys have a strong bond. You do a lot for him. If he did something, okay, that you thought you could help him fix, that's what we need to know, because he's not telling us that story.
See, that's the thing. If there was something like that, I would have told him to go to the cops. I would have told him to make sure that he did everything that he needed to do so that way he wouldn't be in trouble. I would tell him that I'm not getting myself involved because I have too much to worry about. I already had a lot. My health is at risk. I honestly feel like I'm dying because I'm bleeding every day.
Okay, well,
So I have way more to stress about myself than I would have to worry about him and whatever problems he had to. Because at that point, I wouldn't have helped him. You know why? Because he left me. He left me dead cold.
he's coming back to you.
Yes, he's coming back to me, but he still left me in the beginning. And if that was the case, he would have been coming back to me for my help.
Actually, how I see it is, you guys love each other,
Not that
And-
much
and
for
he-
me in my entire life.
and he had a problem that he could only trust you to help him with.
Still, if you honestly knew how I felt about all of that, you would know that I would want him to burn in hell. Burn in hell. Because I stayed up.
For killing Derek.
No. To burn in hell for whatever. He could have sneezed on a nun and I would want him to burn in hell. Because he left me. I sat there crying all hours of the night while he was out doing drugs or doing whatever and doing people. He made a pit stop to fuck somebody on his way up to come see me. Do you think I would really want to help someone that would do that? Honestly, would you want to help your wife? Because I see you're married.
Mm.
Why don't you ask us if you made a pit stop on the way up to come see you? So why don't you ask us if you made a pit stop on the way up to come see you?
Did he?
No.
Well, he told me that he stopped at some boy's house and fucked him. And the boy actually was honestly ugly because he showed me a picture of him and I was a little the tear. I was like, so that's what you choose to cheat on me with for the last time? You couldn't make it someone that was like drop dead gorgeous or something?
You know what he told us?
What?
He told us that you were mad about the relationship that he had with Derek. You got mad, came to Derek's house, and killed Derek.
There's no way in hell that he said that, because you know why?
You want to see the video? I mean,
sure.
I mean, it's recorded. It's
Show
on
me.
video. He's going through every little thing.
Show me. Show me the video. Because honestly, I can care less who he was with.
Well,
Because actually, someone else told me that he was involved. I didn't know he was involved with Derek like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else told me. His dad's friend told me, and this was when we got back up here.
Mm-hmm.
The private investigator told me when we were out here.
Okay.
When we were down there, I didn't even know he had any type of relationship with Derek until he told me that him and Derek, they weren't. He said, oh, I didn't have sex with Derek because Derek wasn't my type. I was only using him to get with this boy. That's what he told me. So
Did he tell you what the boy's name was?
he didn't tell me any of the people that he had encounters with name. Only reason why he showed me the boy that he had sex with right before he came back is because I actually ran across the message. And I said, so who is this? He goes, oh, you weren't supposed to see that. I was supposed to delete that before you seen that.
Okay.
So show me the video of him saying that.
I'm not going to show you.
Exactly, because there's no video.
There damn sure is.
Then show me.
I don't have to show you.
You don't have to, but you actually asked me if I wanted to.
We're
That's
not
what I
gonna
did.
get to it.
And now I'm not answering any more questions until my lawyer gets here because y'all are flip-flopping stories and stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're not flipping.
I would like to speak to a lawyer before I answer any more questions, seeing as how y'all just asked me if I wanted to see a video. I offered yes, and now you won't show me.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
So he told y'all,
I guess it'll be in a probable cause affidavit. So.
If you do change your mind, and I'm not trying to elicit a comment from you because I'm just walking out of this room, I can assure you that. I assure you that. But I promise you on everything that I love in life, that is what he said. We're not going to show you the video because basically it's evidence, and we can't show it to you, okay? But I can promise you on everything that I hold dear in my life, my children and my wife and everybody else, that he did say that. That he did say that. Please don't say anything, because you already asked me to, don't say a word, just listen to me. So if you do change your mind in the future, we're going to leave cards here for you. You, your attorney, whoever, your family needs to reach out to us, because right now, he has accused you of committing this homicide, okay? There's certain electronic evidence that would tend to support that, okay? That would support his version of events. And we went over some of this with you. That evidence being him arriving at your house, hours earlier than you say that he arrived. Leaving your mom's house just a few minutes later. And driving the victim's car to the dump site, okay? And then we have you, by your own admission, helping them drive the victim's U-Haul that the victim rented, back up and drop it off. I personally think that you went to the car wash right there and missed the thing out before. Maybe not. I'm not trying to elicit a response. But anyway, we have all of this, okay? And we have more. And we're still building our case. I mean, just understand this is a missing persons case up until 2 days ago.
mm-hmm.
Now we have it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not done yet. Okay?
And
So,
I just want, and this is not changing anything, that I said.
right.
But did y'all not notice that whose story has been more reliable and whose story has been changing since they first started?
Well, I would say Jesse's. It's been more reliable at this point.
Yeah. At this point.
Right.
But from the beginning, whose story has changed?
Well, I mean,
Because he told his sister that his name was Jeff. I didn't even know that. Did y'all?
Yeah.
well, that's
Okay.
because y'all probably killed somebody at that point.
No. At that point, we was actually on the road up here.
All right, listen, I'm gonna put these back on you, okay?
That's fine.
If you, is that how you want them?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Just go through in front and turn them like that. It'll be a little bit more comfortable for you, okay? Oh, they're gonna hate me if I put the hinge cuffs on backwards.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No, that's what they were.
All right, just sit back, okay?
Your card?
Sure. Are they gonna let you keep these when you get back to county detentions? All right. All right, brother. Hope we get to talk again. If not, that's fine too. Okay. Is there anything you want us to tell mom, family, anything like that?
Well, I'm most likely going to be extradited to Georgia soon, so.
Yep. Okay. All right.
What's up?
Oh, no.
What are you doing? You can't just walk up.
Oh, no, I was going to ask you how long it's going to be.
I don't know, a few more minutes. What you need? Anything?
I'm just hungry.
Okay, let's have a seat. In your bathroom?
Kenny, just stand up for me real quick. I'm gonna put you in a chair here. Okay.
In your bathroom?
Stay right there. Alright, you ready, man?
What time is lunch at the jail? I always forget.
11.
You make it. You want those in your pocket or you gonna hold on to them?
There's no pocket in this.
Oh, okay.